Hey everybody, Steve Gamache here for another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. And what we have this time is the Daovua 52-100 Bunka 165mm knife. So this is a new line of knives coming out from this maker, and they imported some 52-100 high carbon steel. And don't know the heat treat on it, but I would suspect it's probably around 60, maybe 61. The construction appears to be mono steel, and these have a lot of character. You can see the hammer marks in them, so interesting finish on them. These knives are ground a little bit thinner than they've done previous batches. Might be partly because the steel can take it, but they keep getting a little bit more high performance with their knives, so this one does a pretty nice job, so I'm pretty impressed with it. The construction, again, is mono steel. The weight and dimensions can vary a little bit depending on what handle they put on there and such. They do tend to change their handles around a little bit, which, by the way, are very, very nice handles. So this particular one is 130 grams or 4.6 ounces. Edge length right about 165 millimeters or 6.5 inches from the tip to the back of the heel. Overall length is about 310 millimeters or 12.2 inches. Have a little thickness on the spine coming out of the handle. I got about 2.3 millimeters thick right above the back of the heel, and then it shrunk down. It's a little hard to measure with all the hammer marks, but I'm averaging around 1.7, about halfway down the blade. And then this being a Bunka style, you've got that corner there with that reverse sword tip on it, and it thins out pretty nicely towards that tip. You can see that right there. And the grind's a little higher on these than it has been on some, where it starts to thin out towards the edge. And then here is the edge, or the choil shot, the back of the blade. So yeah, it's fairly thin right at the edge. Does a pretty nice job. The blade height is 48.8, so it's a fairly tall blade. You've got a nice curve for your finger for a pinch grip, so this pinch grips very nicely and comfortably. The handle is an octagonal 3-piece handle. We don't know exactly what the woods are, but get that to focus there. Handles are really nicely done. So you've got a highly figured piece of wood here. Looks like a metal spacer, and then I'm not quite sure what this is, but anyway, they're very nice woods. These are almost, to me, they're almost like semi-custom handles. They're really nice. They've done a good tight glue-up job there. We're sealing everything up where it goes in. The tang goes into the handle. So every handle is a little bit different with this batch. I got 3 of them in this batch, and all the handles are nicely done. They're cool. They have different figuring on them, so extremely nice handles. Balance point, these handles are a little on the heavy side. They're a little bit, I'm not sure the wood, but the wood's a little denser. So the balance point is not going to be up here. It's pretty much right about where the front of the handle is where the balance point is. So on a pinch grip, it's going to be a little handle heavy. If you racket grip, it'll be a little, more neutral for you. Let's get a beauty shot here. Let's try about right there. So if you look carefully, you've got the kind of screened in logo there, a name. You've got, real hammer marks there. Definitely hand hammered. Everyone's a little unique. I've been using this one, and I chose to keep the patina on it. So you'll see I've got some patina built up on the knife here. It seems a little less reactive than their other steels, so the leaf spring steels are a bit more reactive than this, which is probably to be expected. But yeah, it's a cool looking blade. Everyone's definitely going to be unique. It's straight. I did have to tweak the edge profile a little bit. It had a little bit of a bump right about there, so I got it and smoothed that out just a little bit to smooth out the profile on the cutting board. Fit and finish is nicely done. They've rounded the spine a little bit, polished that. They've polished and rounded the choil just a little bit. Out of the box edge, 4, maybe 5. These need some sharpening out of the box, so once I reprofiled that, I resharpened it. And the steel seems to be doing pretty well. I haven't used it a ton, but it seems to be holding an edge pretty well. I would suspect it probably would hold an edge better than the other leaf spring lines, depending on how they heat treat it, of course. But yeah, it's a cool knife. It's a great knife to learn how to sharpen on because the steel's good. It's easy to sharpen, and it's not super expensive. So if you are scared to if you're learning how to sharpen and sharpen on a more expensive knife, this is a good knife to do. The Bunka is a nice style too because the tip's not too high. There's not a lot of belly here, so you don't have to like lift the blade weird on the sharpening to learn that tip kind of how you handle the tip with raising your handle as you sharpen. So it's an easier one to sharpen. So this is the profile. Again, I had a little bit of a bump there. I didn't take it all the way out, but I took it out as far as I wanted to. So here's what the edge profile looks like. I smoothed it out a little bit. And so I can get in there. It's not going to rock too much because the tip's pretty low as it normally is for this style of knife. So you could rock over small stuff. But you got a little bit of a flattish area towards the back. Push-pull cuts are great. Tip draws are nice. Glide cuts and such work really well. So it's a pretty versatile profile. Again, it's not going to rock too much. But so anyway, just a nice looking handcrafted knife that's unique and not expensive, not super expensive, and great handles on these things. So it's a pretty cool line of knives. This is the Daovua 52100 Bunka 165mm knife from Chef Knives to Go.